Hello, my dear friends, and welcome again to another reflection on the Confessions of St. Augustine. And this time we will be reflecting on the Confessions book 13, 9, 10. Wherein it is another beautiful passage here about love. And it's about what drives us. Augustine said, Pondos meos amor meos. My weight is my love. Let me read it. Because I think in your gift we find rest, and there we enjoy you. Our true place is where we find rest. That's true. Now, Augustine here is a little bit scientific. Scientific in the sense that he is explaining about rest. He noticed, and I believe you have noticed, that things moves, diba? We are moved. Things are moved. Of course, we human beings and animals, we move. And I've already mentioned that we are moved by our desires. But in the world, you also see things are being moved also, like a stone dropping from above goes down. Rain falls down. Smoke goes up. Fire goes up. So in pondering all these things, Augustine is thinking, why is it that these things are moving? And when they find where they're supposed to be, they rest. The answer to this question is from Aristotle and some earlier Greek philosophers. Take note that science, as we know it, empirical science as we know it, is actually a offspring of philosophy. In the Greek philosopher, in the more ancient Greek philosophers, I forgot the name of who said this, but later on Aristotle would articulate it. They said that whatever is the composition, the main composition of a certain body will influence the way it moves. And they have a structure in nature. They have noticed that the sun is, of course, fire. And so, again, depending on the author, because there is a controversy here whether fire or air is the highest. But let's put it in one's perspective just to make it more simple. Fire is the highest element. Why is it so? Because the sun, the source of heat and light, is there up. So fire is the highest element. The second element is air, and it's very obvious. Clouds, for example, or you can feel air. Not only here, but even on top of the mountain. So, fire, air. And down after fire and air is water. You can see naman, di ba? And on the lowest is the earth. So that's the hierarchy of elements. Fire, air, water, and earth. According to what composes the body, it will move there. The tendency of the body, according to the ancient philosophers, is that they move and find rest according to what composed them. So, a stone. Sayang, wala akong sample dire. But I think you can imagine this. You are already in the graduate level. So, I think you can imagine this. If I have a stone on my hand and I threw it up, it will go down. Of course, we moderns will say it's because of gravity. That's how we explain it, according to Newton. But according to the early Greeks, and later on, Augustine, of course, was influenced by such thinking. The stone fell down precisely because it is mainly made of earth. So the tendency is fire, air, water, earth. So even if I place the stone in the position of air, that means I put it on the top of a mountain and throw it higher, it will still go down. It will still go down precisely because it is made of earth. The composition of this particular body is made of earth. Rain is water. Of course, our understanding of the hydrological cycle is more sophisticated. But of course, the early Greeks knew that rain is water. And what do you see? Coming from above, it goes down. Because the position of water is down below air. So it goes down. Instead of staying there in air, it will go down. And we can see that in the bodies of water, like the sea and the ocean. So, earth, water. Smoke, like you're cooking. Why is it that smoke goes up and not down, like creeping on the ground? Why is it that the smoke is moving up, or maybe sidewards, but still moving up, and not creeping, not falling? Why is it floating? Precisely because air, or rather smoke, is made up of some earth, like the ashes, but mainly made up of air. That's why it goes up. And the ash, which is made of earth, goes down. And fire. Why is it whenever you light fire, fire would go straight? Have you seen a fire that goes down, like crawling or creeping? No. Fire would tend to go up precisely because it wants to go back to where its original position is, and that's on the top. So, it's very plain and simple. The idea of the early Greek philosophers is that whatever is the main composition of a certain body, that will give it weight and that will move that body. So, our true place is where we find rest. That's why we are moving, because we are looking for rest. So the stone falling down will not stop falling until it reaches earth or the ground. So, for example, I will imagine yourself, let's have a thought experiment here. You go up to the highest imaginable pinnacle, and then you drop a stone. What will happen to the stone? It will go down, 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 until it reaches the ground. It would not stop midway. I'll rest here. No, it will only find its rest where it is supposed to be. Okay? So, yun. Or imagine you are in the highest pinnacle imaginable and you light a fire. What will be the direction of the fire? Going down? No, still going up. Precisely because fire is the highest, in the highest level. So here, Augustine says that we only find our true place is where we find rest. So the question is, where is the true place of man so that he will find rest from his restless longings, from his restless heart? And the answer of Augustine is this: we are born toward it by love, and it is your good spirit who lifts up our sunken nature from the gaze of death. A body gravitates to its proper place by its own weight. This weight does not necessarily drag it downward, but it pulls it to the place proper to it. Thus, fire tends upward, and a stone downward. Drawn by their weight, things seeks its own place, its rightful place. If oil is poured into water, it will rise to the surface. But if water is poured into oil, it will sink below the oil. Drawn by its weight, things seek their rightful places. They are not at rest as long as they are disordered. But once brought to order to find their rest, they find the rest. Yan. And now Augustine answers the question, how about man? What is the weight of man? Sabi niya, pondos meos, amor meos. Now my weight is my love. And wherever I am carried, it is this weight, this love that carries me. Sa Euron, we are moved higher and higher by the love that we have. So if you love your money, you go to where your money is. If you love your positions, your prestige, you will seek and work for it, and you will move towards it. Whatever your weight is, no? Depending, as I already mentioned in the first lecture on this series on the themes of confessions, whatever your love is, that will be your weight. I mean, whatever your weight is, that is where you will be brought. For Augustine, he said, now that he was writing this from his old age, his love is his own weight. And it is this love that brought him higher and higher. So, it is this love that made him restless. It is this love that makes him to seek rest. And of course, the answer now is, why is it Augustine restless? I mean, he said, you have made us for yourself, Lord, and my heart is restless until it rests in you. So the composition of the human person in its pure state is that he is made in the image and likeness of God, and therefore he will seek his own order. He will seek that which he loves. And it will only find rest in God, because God has made us for himself and for him alone. Isn't it beautiful, no? So, we have to examine what we love. We examine what we love because it is by knowing what we love that we can come to understand who we are and why we are doing these things. So that's a very important point to ponder on. So, why is it that I'm doing these things? Why is it that I am acting this way? Precisely because it is what I love. And my love will bring me to whatever things I love, so that I'll find rest there. Unfortunately, and this is the reality of the human heart will continue to be restless. Like, for example, you want 1 million pesos. Now that you have 1 million, you want 2 millions. Now that you have 2 millions, you have more. You want more, you want more, you want more. Yeah. For example, you want power in politics. You start like as a barangay captain, or maybe a councilor, or kagawad, I mean. And then you become a barangay captain. And if you have more potentials, you want to become the mayor or the governor, or later on the senator of the republic, or maybe later on become a president of the republic itself. So, the heart is not contented with, the heart will always be restless, according to Augustine. Why is it so? Because these are disordered affections. Augustine is not saying that we renounce all these things, no. Later on, in one of our classes, I will tell you the thoughts of Augustine's there, that matter, no? So, with regards to the form that attracts us, in book 2, chapter 5, paragraph 10, he says, about the beautiful form of material things that attracts our senses. And he said, we may seek all these things, O Lord. So okay lang, we may seek all these things, O Lord. But in seeking them, we must not deviate from your law. Which means, okay, if you want to be rich, go ahead. If you want to be powerful, go ahead. If you want to be popular, go ahead. But make sure that in the achievement of all these things that you desire, you are not deviated. You're not deviating from the law of God. And more so, you are not deviating from your true desire. The true desire of the soul, which is God. So it's okay to, if you want to be rich, okay. As long as you do not allow your riches to bring you to the wrong direction, it's okay to be powerful as long as you use your power to really help people to bring good, authentic good to others. It's okay, no worries about it. But there's a caveat there, and the caveat is make sure that it does not deviate us from the law of God and from the love of God. Okay, so I think I have the... Now let's end this particular lesson with this. From the same book, 13, chapter 9, verse 10. Paragraph 10. For I rejoiced when I was told, we are going to the Lord's house. There shall goodwill find us a place, that we may have no other desire but to abide there forever. In other words, after the searching for power, for money, for popularity, after all this restless journey, the true journey ends in the house of God. As the psalm says, no, let us go to the house of the Lord and find there our rest. So may the good Lord help us in our journey towards the house, towards His house, towards that rest, no? So, let us reflect on that. Amor pondos meus, amor meus. My love is my weight. Whatever moves me, wherever I go, it is because that is what I love. And we have to reflect on it. Whether we are loving the right object or not. Whether our affection is ordered or disordered, depending on what is right and what is wrong. Thank you very much. Until next time. God bless us all.